So there's a number of topics I want to discuss today, but they all do filter into the same point, so please do bear with me. So in the Bible, in the book of Ecclesiastes, it says that there is nothing new under the sun. And that is very true. Why am I referencing that today? I'm referencing it in terms of this propaganda that we're seeing being used in the current conflict between the Islamic regime in Iran and Israel and the United States. We've seen on social media influencers and talking heads this week talk about how Tel Aviv is being destroyed, and that another rumor was that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had been killed. Prime Minister Netanyahu actually released a fairly funny video to debunk rumors that he had been killed, but that did not stop the rumors. Apparently those videos are AI and all these other myths are circulating. But this is not new. For the viewers who have a grasp of Israeli history, the 1967 war, known as the Six-Day War, when Israel won a stunning victory against 5 Arab armies. On the very first day of that war, the Israeli Air Force destroyed Egypt, its largest and most powerful adversary at the time, destroyed Egypt's Air Force, and Israel's ground forces made massive advances into Egyptian territory. But at that very same time, as all this was happening, Ahmed Said, who was the host of an Egyptian radio show called Voice of the Arab, which was broadcast throughout the Middle East and into North Africa, was saying these very statements as this was happening. Our forces have completely destroyed the enemy's air force. This is talking about Egypt's air force destroying Israel's air force. We are advancing on all fronts and victory is certain. He also said Tel Aviv is in flames and Israeli cities are being bombed relentlessly. He said that we will wipe Israel off the map in this war. Bear in mind, he is saying all of this while knowing that Egypt's air force has been destroyed, that Egyptian forces are retreating, and there is a fear that the Israeli forces may reach Cairo. But people believed it. People didn't know any better. And now, even in the age of social media and we have all this information, people are continuing to believe lies. This is not new. And sadly, this seems to be a tactic of Israel's enemies. You lose the actual military conflict after being bellicose and belligerent towards the Jewish state for decades, so you engage in a propaganda war, which basically you lie. Their hatred of the Jewish people is enough for them to believe anything. And that leads to something very dangerous. We saw in Michigan an attack on a synagogue, again, inspired by Islamists. And that's what propaganda does. Now, what we're seeing in the aftermath of this terror attack in Michigan is newspapers and officials say, well, his family were killed by an Israeli strike in Lebanon, and that's why he did this. So let's unpack that, even if that is a factual story. And look, if his family members were just innocent people, it's a tragedy. It doesn't take anybody with a moral compass to say that the killing of innocents, even in war, is a tragedy. Who is responsible? Hezbollah in this instance, because they decided to join this conflict and fire rockets at Israel. But there are also reports that his family members who were killed were members of Hezbollah, which is a completely different scenario. But either way, if either of those reports are true, by stating that fact, by bringing that into the reporting of the story, by politicians and leaders bringing that up, you're essentially saying that this individual in the United States was justified, or there was some reasoning for him to attack a Jewish institution where there were Jewish children, where there were men and women just doing their day-to-day jobs, a place of worship of an American Jewish community based on something happening in the Middle East. That's essentially what you're saying. Otherwise, why would you mention it? Why is that relevant? We have to be responsible in the wording we're using. We have to be responsible in what we are saying, and we also have to call out lies. The United States is pro-Israel. The United States is a country which values its Jewish population. It has for a long time, but in recent times, we took it for granted. We just expected that people will realize how evil and insidious anti-Semitism is, and that's why it is growing. Because we just assume that it wouldn't happen. And that's why every single one of us has to play our part in making a difference. This is Qasim Hafiz with the CUFI Weekly. For Zion's sake, do not remain silent. Thanks for checking out this episode. Be sure to like and subscribe so you get a notification every time a new episode hits. And if you want to check out some of our previous episodes, and we've got some really good ones, click on one of the thumbnails and that will take you right there. And finally, if you want to know more about CUFI and the work we do, go to cufi.org to check out all the resources we have available free to you.